Hello and welcome to your messages for the week. Today is Sunday, the 23rd of June, 2024. Yes, we're coming towards the end of June now. So it's going to be interesting when this divine action is coming in, because the messages for the month of June, if you haven't already seen them, link in the description, video in the end screen. But the messages for the month of June were all about stillness, retreating, relaxing, and the stillness, but also reflecting. It was rest, retreat, relax, which is usual for the Four of Swords. But there was a strong message of reflecting as well, and really an energy of stillness needed. And we were saying that that isn't just about physical stillness. Of course, it's mental stillness. So it is a little bit about being empty-headed, thoughtless. We were brought up to, if anyone called us thoughtless when we were growing up, it was obviously a very negative comment, that we weren't thinking about other people or something like that. But in fact, to be thoughtless is actually, I think, the way to be. Because then we can just act from that place of divinity through the heart, can't we? So being empty-headed, that kind of stillness, but taking every opportunity to be physically still as well. Sometimes people are running around like a headless chicken and causing stress, whereas in fact we can take more time to rest. But towards the end of the month, we had the Page of Wands, who is, of course, opportunities and offers of new action coming in. And so often that action is born out of the stillness. So the fact that he came up at the end, I mean, these aren't strictly from the month, it's like beginning just June, because energies obviously are like this and time is an illusion. So just here in the third and fourth dimension. And if we're accessing fifth dimensional levels of consciousness now, then time isn't really a factor. So I think the message was more about divine action that is born out of having that time of stillness and that time of empty-headedness and thoughtlessness. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. And I think one of the other messages that's come through for me very much recently is trusting in the guidance, because of course, for you to take divine action, you've got to have to be inspired. There's going to have to be some inspiration coming in order to take that action. And that's when it's a case of we normally have to leave our comfort zone, and that's when we get the limiting beliefs, isn't it? Because we have the fear come up, and then we have all the arguments against leaving the comfort zone about not being able to do it, not being good enough, can't afford it, haven't got enough time, what will people think of me, etc., etc. And so trusting in the guidance is really important. I think that's it's so important to understand that why would you be given that guidance if it wasn't for you to carry out? Because we're not all being guided the same way, are we? And so really understanding that you're being given that guidance in order for you individually, you unique you, to follow that guidance. So I had a beautiful experience of this. So on Friday, we celebrated the summer solstice at the garden retreat. And on the poster that I put out beforehand, after the heart opening activities, I had put chakra balancing meditation, which is something I've done many times. It's a guided meditation for people while they're usually lying, still in meditation on the floor. But I got the guidance after doing the poster to do it through sound, and to understand that every chakra has a frequency, and every chakra has a color at that frequency, and there is a sound for that frequency, and there is a purpose for that frequency. So each chakra is actually our light. We're light beings, and the chakras are the different colored lights, like the rainbow lights, coming in, the colors of the spectrum. And each color is a different frequency. Each sound is a different frequency. And each frequency helps us in a different way become all of who we are, right? Starting off with that kind of primitive, frequency of survival, and then creative and becoming united with others, and then the confidence, then the love, then the expression, and then the seeing the bigger picture, and then the connection to the divine. I've just summed it up really quickly, but you know what I mean. So I was guided to lead, in rather than just omming, which often we would om to ground the root chakra sound frequency, but I was guided to lead, producing the sound of each chakra, and then up to the next octave. And that might not sound a big deal, right? But if I just let you know that when I was 6, I was happily singing in assembly, obviously off key, and a teacher told me that I couldn't sing and told me to mime. And at the age of 6, I started miming and just not producing any sound. They would call it lip syncing today, wouldn't they? And I did that for 50 years and believed that I couldn't sing. I take responsibility for believing the teacher. We don't have to believe everything that we're told, of course. And it wasn't till a few years ago that I was like, hang on a minute, I'm in the belief busting game. I'm going to shift this belief. And it was really deep rooted, but I couldn't sing. I spent my whole life believing I couldn't sing. And then I created that for myself, because I basically couldn't sing because I believed I couldn't sing. But that's how it works, right? Anyway, I had a CD from Chloe Goodchild, and she, on the CD, went through all the chakras producing the sound. Now, what is so powerful about this, and the reason I like sharing it, is because if your chakras are a little bit out of balance, by producing the sound of each chakra, you're actually putting that chakra back into balance. It's really healing. You're healing and nurturing and activating, stimulating, energizing, whatever word you want to use, each chakra by producing the sound. And if you struggle to produce the sound, that's just a sign that that chakra is a little bit, out of balance. So you just keep going. You just keep going, and then you feel, or you could hear. But if you're tone deaf, then you would feel it, right? Because I feel things. Then you could feel when that frequency is right for the chakra. And by doing that yourself, you're actually balancing your chakras, you see. So that's why it was a good activity for, where I was doing the chakra balancing meditation. And it was also inviting everybody there to produce the sound. So they're healing themselves, rather than just listening to mine. But so a shout out to Michelle at the Dome in Al Kalali. I'll put a link in the description to her website, because she does a course called Free Your Voice, which I did. I did it live with her, but she has got that course online now as well. And then I was so in love with this using my voice, or the healing behind using my voice, I should say. So I did another course with her, a voice healing course. And that's where I got the desire and the inspiration to work on my voice. And that does not mean that I'm a singer in any shape or form. But what I like about it is that I am okay now with producing the sounds of the chakras so that I can heal myself. And as I did on Friday, I led a chakra healing activity. And that was, as you can imagine, completely out of my comfort zone. Completely. I mean, how can that couldn't have been more out of my comfort zone, could it? And the other thing I did for the first time on Friday, now most of you will know that I do the heart wall healings. A lot of you watching this will have had your heart wall healing done, which is something from Dr. Bradley Nelson's The Emotion Code, which is the emotional healing modality that I use. So I'm really into releasing heart walls, and I have cut a few corners with that, and I've been doing it for years. But for the first time, I did it in a whole group. I had the whole group there, and we did a group heart wall healing, which was really powerful because it's just taking everything to the next level, understanding that we're not just our human, we are the whole universe in one human being. So yeah, it was amazing. So that was a little bit out of my comfort zone, not as much as the sound producing, the singing. Wasn't really singing, it was just, as I say, chanting, I guess, omming different frequencies, I guess is what it was. But my point is, the point is with all of this is that somebody did say, the lovely Liz did say to me, oh, well done, because she knew I was out of my comfort zone. And she said, well done, which obviously I received, gratefully. And I'm surrounded by support, not just from the lovely Liz, but from loads of people. But it made me realize that the well done wasn't for producing the sound and leaving my comfort zone. The well done for me is because I trusted the guidance. That's my point, my long-winded point. I trusted the guidance. So I did something so out of my comfort zone, yet I did it with ease and grace, and it was powerfully received. And I wasn't nervous at all. And it went well. And for me, I was trusting the guidance because I thought, why would I have that guidance to do that if it wasn't going to be received well? If it wasn't going to be a success? I mean, success, whatever. I mean, it wasn't such a big deal, right? I mean, it's not such a big deal, right? But I'm just saying for me personally. Now, the things that you feel uncomfortable doing, the things that are outside your comfort zone, to other people may not seem a big deal, right? You might see people, friends and people on screen, that are doing what you want to do. And you're like, wow, they're doing that, but they don't have a problem doing it. But it's out of your comfort zone. So it doesn't have to be a big thing. It's not like it's an award-winning performance. It's just something that you are not comfortable doing, which will probably be born out of your trapped emotions and your limiting beliefs. Of course, that's what it always boils down to, right? But if you have been guided, when I say guided, what does that mean? It's basically following your intuition, isn't it? It's following your intuition because your intuition it gets stronger and stronger when you follow your intuition. Your intuition is a feeling, isn't it? It's a feeling to do something, and it's about following that feeling. So it is all about feeling, and it is about feeling is the secret. So I will put a link in to that book, the audio book, free on YouTube. Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. I'll put a link in the description to that because our intuition is our feeling and our intuition is our guidance. So when you are intuitively guided to do something, it's going to be a success. It's going to be received well. And even if it isn't, there's a lesson there. Because sometimes we are guided to do things, that maybe result in an experience that we might refer to as unpleasant, unpreferred, negative. It's just reminded me of, an experience I had eating space cake. But at the end of the day, it's an experience that we needed to have. as an experience that opens something up on our healing journey, on our spiritual journey. So it's not, even if it's not received well, there's a really glorious divine lesson in it, which is why you're being guided to do it. Either way, if you don't do it, you're not going to feel fulfilled. You're going to be thinking, what if, what if? You're just going to be feeling stuck and stagnant, I want to say. You'll be feeling stagnant. And there's a part of you that just wants to burst open. And there's a part of you that wants to be that person that does do it, whatever it is, it's outside your comfort zone. So really, I want to say, trust the guidance. Trust the guidance. It's the trusting that I think is the most important thing. Because for me, Friday was a breeze, and I was that much out of my comfort zone. And yet it was still a breeze for me. And it's because I just trusted. I was like, I would not be feeling to do it if it wasn't the right thing to do. And that's a really important point, I think. So yeah, trust the guidance. Because if you're being guided to do something outside your comfort zone, it is for a reason. It's because you're meant to be doing it. So, wow. Anyway, I'd love to hear what comfort zones you've been leaving and what activities you've been doing outside your comfort zone. Let's see if the cards have anything to say about trusting guidance coming through. They're all face down at the moment, and there's 5 cards come out. So let's dive in. Here we go. Firm foundations. Love it. Firm foundations. And they're dancing in front of the castle. Remember, in tarot, the castle in the background represents your goals in life, and they are dancing right in front of it, so they are that close to their goal. The 4 of Wands is very much about celebration. Look at them. It's the wedding card. But it is about co-creating, coming together. It's a very appropriate one, isn't it, for what I was saying. There's like a portal here. Okay, and people are celebrating, and the portal is taking people to the next level, the next octave, energetically, frequency, talking about frequency. Everything is energy, right? And when we want to shift into 5th dimensional levels of consciousness, we're literally taking ourselves to the next octave, and they are celebrating. And the 4 of Wands is all about action. Take the action outside your comfort zone. Even when you're getting married, right? Even if you're marrying the right, perfect partner for you, you're still nervous, right? Who's not nervous when they do that? It's a big step, isn't it? But then once you've taken that big step, you look back and it was like, oh, that wasn't difficult. That wasn't difficult. Well, the reason it wasn't difficult is because you were meant to have taken it. And it's part of your destiny. It's part of your divine path. So you look back now at your life, at some of the things you've done, and people have gone, wow, that's amazing that you've done that. And you're thinking, well, before I did it, I was a bit nervous, but now that I've done it, I realize how easy it is. I mean, that's the way it works, right? But this is also about firm foundations. It's reminding you that you have the firm foundations. Whatever it is that you're dreaming about doing, wanting to do, push yourself out of your comfort zone. You have the foundation, the firm foundation to do it. Oh, brilliant. I want to look at the rest. There's the Page of Wands. Oh, I've got truth bumps. It's really hot today. Page of Wands, he came up at the end of the month of June. He was the one that was saying divine action is coming in, opportunities and offers to experience this divine action, to take this divine action. You have the firm foundations. Celebrate your life. That's another thing that's been coming up a lot for me. It's less about healing and more about celebrating. That's the pagans of Pago. They're always telling me dance and chant, and that dancing and chanting are healing. You know, they're healing. And we don't always have to focus on, crying. And I mean, it's good crying, right? I'm a big fan of crying, of course, because it's the body's natural mechanism to process trapped emotions. But so is laughter. Laughter is also one of the amazing ways that we can process trapped emotions. So celebrating is really big. When I was writing the intention for the garden retreat, I was going to say healing. And the pagans of Pago were like really strict about saying it's healing and celebration, healing and celebration events. And that's what it's all about, because after Friday, celebrating at the level that I felt my whole energy just celebrating the summer solstice. And it was our second birthday, the garden retreat's second birthday. And just celebrating it, I felt the frequency rose so much that I noticed that little ailments that I had, little physical, human body ailments that I had were lifted. They just kind of like came out, or they went, or what have you. It was like, because the frequency had risen. And it's a constant lesson that I'm getting, that when you celebrate, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but raising your frequency is what's going to heal us. And celebrating raises our frequency. So this is the celebration. There's a little message there about, it doesn't have to be expensive healing processes that we undertake, although I'm not dissing them, obviously. But it's just celebrating life in itself takes you to where you need to go for this divine action to come through. And this divine action is you leaving your comfort zone. It's you leaving your comfort zone because it's your destiny. They're all face down. I'm just turning around now. I love the way they flow. The Wheel of Fortune Major Arcana card. This is your destiny card. Because let's go back. Let's take it back a little bit. Everything is happening in the now moment. Everything is happening in the now moment. So from whatever it is that you want to be doing, let's say, for example, me using my voice, in a productive and beautiful way, rather than being off key. But even if you are off key, it doesn't matter. We need to use the voice. We need to use the voice. This is what I'm understanding. So if you are off key, like I am or was or whatever, just keep producing the sound, and you will find the right sound for each chakra, or you will find the sound that you need. It's not about producing the right sound. And the other thing I want to say is, it's not, for me personally, so this is my experience, this isn't about Deborah learning to sing. That's why learning to sing never resonated with me, because first of all, it takes an effort. Secondly, it makes it Deborah learning to sing, and that's not what it was. For me, understanding energy, it was about understanding that the frequency of the sound is coming through me, just like the light from these chakras is coming through me. The color is coming through me. It's the sound, it's coming through me, not from me. And so all we're doing is like opening the mouth, focusing on a chakra, and just letting a sound out. Just let the sound come out. Allow it to come out. So it's not singing. And I guess it is called chanting. I don't really know. Some people will call it toning. It's a new area for me, so I don't really know the answers. All I do know from my experience is that it is just so fulfilling and healing to produce these sounds. And it doesn't matter if it's like some people like Michelle at the Dome and Nestor and Charlie, that's their motorway to enlightenment using sound. They do it day in, day out. That's their go-to healing modality. And it's perfect. And then that's why they're using it to heal themselves, and then they share it with others to help us heal ourselves. And that's what it's all about. You use your gifts, whatever your strengths are, you use them to heal yourself and share them with others so that others can heal through them as well. So yeah, it's kind of perfect. But this is the destiny card. Let's go back to whatever your comfort zone is. So you're leaving your comfort zone and doing whatever it is, whatever this divine action is, because it might not be sound related. Okay, that was just my experience. So whatever it is that your soul is wanting you to do, as everything's happening in the now moment, you have actually already done it in some dimension. And all we need to do is to tap into that dimension to bring it in. So it's coming to you, if that makes sense. It's not like you have to make an effort to go to it, because everything is already happening. So the person that you're dreaming of being, or the action, the activity that you want to be doing that's outside your comfort zone, you're all in some dimension, you're already doing that. And it's about raising your frequency to match it. And that will, then you will experience it, because everything exists in the now moment. But you only get to experience that which you resonate with, which is why it's all about raising your frequency. And the more we raise our frequency, the more we tap into our own destiny. Our destiny is the free will of our higher self. Your higher self is your God self, you know. And some people are like, you know, but what if I don't want to do what that? It's like your higher self, doing what your higher self wants you to do is what's going to bring you the most joy. It's what's going to be easiest for you. Excuse me. It's what's going to make your life less of a struggle. It's going to bring you your divine abundance of joy, love, health, happiness, and financial security. So why would you not want to do it? If there's a part of you that doesn't want to do it, that part of you is sorry, trapped emotions of stubbornness, trapped emotions of lack of control, resistance to what? Resistance of being all of who you are. It's scary. There's fear there. That came up someone on Friday as well. There's fear that comes up. Of course there's fear when we leave our comfort zone. Of course there is. But it's fear that we can release. We need to like step through it, don't we? So yeah, it's your destiny. It's your destiny to do this stuff. And it might involve working hard, but it won't feel like hard work. It won't feel like hard work at all. You know, even when you get really busy, if you're in alignment with your divinity, it will not feel like hard work. You will carry out any tasks with ease and grace. But what this card is also saying, remember it's Pentacles, so you are going to be making some money, but it's more about how much he's enjoying it. Look, he is really engrossed in what he's doing, and he's really enjoying what he's doing. And the other important message with the Eight of Pentacles is that he is building on what he already does. He's building on what he already knows. And that's kind of similar to what I was doing on Friday, because of my understanding of energy and my understanding of the chakras and my understanding of frequency and my understanding that when we are connected, life flows through us, not from us. And my understanding that these sounds were not mine to produce, they were coming through me. And if they didn't sound quite right, that was a message for me that something was out of balance and needed my love and attention. So because of that's the way I approached it, I was expanding upon what I was already doing as far as energy healing and energy reading and, you know, all that kind of stuff, quantum truthing. And so that's what he's doing. So whatever it is that's outside your comfort zone, it's going to be building on what you have already done. This is the firm foundation, remember. So there's some beautiful divine action, some divine purpose for you, an expansion of your divine purpose. You have the firm foundation. You've already been doing it to a certain degree. This card is telling you that you're taking it to another level, taking it to another octave, taking it up a frequency notch or what have you. And the last one, I'm not surprised about the Three of Swords coming in here, because this is the 6-year-old that was inside of me saying, I can't sing. People don't understand that I can't sing. And then I would get people saying to me, everybody can sing. Don't be so silly, child. And I even had a case where my stepmother made us all sing a song before we went to bed. And I was just mortified, you know, and it was just completely, goodness gracious, everybody can sing. And I was just full of Painbody. I can't sing. I'm not good enough. People don't understand this, you know. And this is a real, yeah, it's heartache, it's grief, it's sorrow, it's sadness. This is a real sadness card. It's also very much a forgiveness card, because when we have an incident in our life and we look back, we can point fingers, can't we, at people? You know, in the beginning, when I told my story, people would say, that's really bad of that teacher. That's really wrong of that teacher that told you not to sing. you know. And in the beginning, maybe I thought that as well, but this is the forgiveness card. It's like, that's why I said in the beginning, I take responsibility for believing her, because we don't have to believe what everyone's told us. So I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not even blaming myself. You know, I was 6 years old and I chose to believe it, you know, and now I don't believe it. It took me a long time, deep rooted, but I am sure there are some beliefs that you've had for a lot of time, like since childhood, that are really deep rooted, and that you don't have to believe anymore. That's what I want to say to you. You do not have to believe everything you've been told. So that's what this card is saying, because there can be events in our past that we're perceiving as negative. But it doesn't have to be that way, because it's an event. Yes, you can't change the event, fair enough. But you change how you look at it, you reframe it, you change the way you look at the event, because your view of the event is a thought, and your emotion is attached to the thought. So if I think she was wrong, she was bad, I'm blaming her, and poor me, poor little 6-year-old, you know, I was upset, I was hurt, I was humiliated. You know, if I want to think like that, that's just going to keep me in a state of contraction. So this is why it's so important to forgive, and reframe everything. It's like, that's an experience that happened, and the teacher co-created the experience with me so that I would experience some level and some form of adversity, so that I would experience some kind of negative thinking for the purpose of me learning to overcome it. It's just another example of co-creating with someone to have an experience that is going to help you grow. It's ultimately going to help you grow. The fact that I took 50 years to do it, I'm not blaming myself either. I mean, I see how it works, you know? So it was just a co-creation that's allowed me to bring in divine action, following my destiny, working on it, because I was using that CD from Chloe Goodchild, I was using it in the car when I was on my own. And I was practicing the sounds on my own all the time for quite a while. You know, it didn't happen overnight. That was the time for me to practice in the car on my own, and I could be as loud as I wanted. But it's good. It's good. So releasing the pain body, release your pain body, and trust this guidance coming in. Trust the guidance. Release the pain body. Follow your destiny and expand into more of who you are. Wow. That's what it is. That's what it is. Trust the guidance. Release the pain body. Follow your destiny and expand into more of who you are. Yes. Message for this week, isn't it? Mwah, mwah, mwah. Enjoy the energies. I love you all. Have a fantastic week. See you in the next video. Bye for now.